Okay, so I get asked all the time about vaccines and stuff like that. And I was asked if I could make it as simple as possible. So I get it. I go into things a little bit deep sometimes, but so I think that we should attack this from a different angle. The medical community and the government. And so remember, all of the medical community's information, all the medical community's stance, all the medical community's information comes from the government. So the FDA, the CDC, the NIH. So remember, when we're talking about the medical community, we're really talking about what the government is telling the medical community to then repeat. So just keep that in mind. So what we are told is that the childhood vaccines are safe and effective. Here's the thing. The medical community is also telling us that the COVID-19 vaccine is both safe and effective. So I think what we need to start asking is, well, what is your definition of safe and effective? Because if you believe that the COVID-19 is effective at blocking and stopping the COVID-19 virus, and you think it's safe as this has never hurt anybody, if that's the bar, like the COVID-19 passes the bar for safe and effective, just like the MMR and all the other vaccines, they're all equally safe and effective. I think that we're all kind of on the same page. It's just that the medical community believes that safe and effective is a different thing than we believe. Because it kind of makes sense. Because if you look at what they're now saying that the COVID-19 vaccine does in fact stop the virus. It is effective at preventing COVID-19 infection, which I thought we all decided was not the case a couple of years ago. But they're telling us that that's a lie, that's misinformation, we shouldn't listen to that. And then remember during when we had the vaccine rollout and all of a sudden we started hearing the term SADS, S-A-D-S, sudden adult death syndrome that we'd never had before. Yeah, that was lying. That wasn't a real thing. According to the medical community, it's safe and effective. People don't die from the COVID-19 vaccine. SADS was made up nonsense. That's a lie. Don't listen to those people. The people who said they had heart issues, all those videos of young athletes having heart attacks while playing soccer and on the field, those were all lies too. You can't listen to those people. Just like the medical community comes out and tells you that all of these moms, the tens of thousands of moms who have said, my kid was like this, they got the vaccine and they were different. All those moms are lying. That's just silly talk. Vaccines have never hurt anybody ever. They're all safe and effective. So that's kind of where we're at. So if you look at the COVID-19 vaccine or like the yearly flu shot and you go, I don't think that the COVID-19 shot is effective at preventing the virus. And I also don't think it's safe because I remember when we were rolling it out and when there were all these talks about people dying all of a sudden, heart attacks and strokes and blood clots and all these things. I remember talking about that. The medical community is telling you that those are all lies and that, that never happened. That wasn't a thing. So kind of understand where their level of safe and effective is. And also remember that all of their marching orders, all of their bullet points, all of their talking points, all of them come from the government, the CDC, the NIH, and the FDA. So that should kind of give us a little bit of an idea of what we're actually talking about. So if we strip away all the science, we strip away all the stuff, that's where we're at. If you notice or you say anything about vaccines hurting you or someone around you, you're just lying. You're just gaslighting everybody. You're just, anti-vax and anti-science. So because, vaccines, just like COVID-19 vaccine, have been proven to work every time, be completely functional, and never hurt anybody. Because the MMR, the Hep B, and all those vaccines are just as equally safe and effective as the COVID-19 vaccine. That's what we're being told, and that's why RFK was sued when he said, hey, let's not mandate that babies have to take the COVID-19 vaccine. So yeah, if you didn't know that, the medical community sued and the government sued RFK for saying that the COVID-19 vaccine should be optional, not mandated. Because again, the medical community has said that the COVID-19 vaccine is both safe and effective. So that's kind of where the argument is at this point, without going through all the science and all the different stuff, but that's kind of where it is. The other thing I would look at is the vaccines, why they're using them and when they're using them. So like, for instance, I mentioned the Hep B earlier. Hepatitis B is a sexually transmitted disease or from dirty heroin needles, that type of thing. Why the medical community thinks that as soon as babies, and our government, remember our government, when a baby is first born, the first thought we should have is sex and heroin use, I think is weird. But again, it is where it is. So kind of keep those in mind, keep them in mind with the definition, what your definition of safe and effective is, versus the definitions the government and the medical community has of safe and effective based solely on the COVID-19 vaccine. That's all you have to do because, again, MMR, Hep B, all of the vaccines are just as safe and effective as the COVID-19 vaccine because they're all under that, they're safe and effective. So keep that in mind and think that through. And if you're one of those people who go, hold on, I don't really know if the COVID vaccine is safe and effective, I'd like more information. You're over here with the anti-vaxxers who are like, hey, we're not against vaccines, but we would like more information on things like this, which is also why the vaccine and the government community hates the Ford study. The Ford study was a study done of thousands of kids who were vaccinated versus thousands of kids who were not vaccinated. And what it showed is that over time, the kids who were vaccinated had a lot more chronic disease. They were on a lot more chronic medications. They had a lot more issues than the non-vax kids. However, the medical community and the government says that's a terrible, terrible study because they didn't do it. So, but that's where we're at. So if you guys have any other questions, hit us up. This argument's not going to go away. There's way too many people making way too much money and they've staked their lives and their reputations on this stuff. So this argument isn't going to go away. You just have to start making decisions for yourself on it. You guys have a fabulous day. Thanks for your time.